If you're like me, you're a seasonal drinker. I drink different things depending on what the weather's like outside and what season it is. I want to talk to you about my top 5 Scotch whiskies for the spring of 2023. Hey guys, welcome back to Whiskey on the West Coast. My name is Matt, and today I want to talk to you about my top 5 whiskeys for the spring of 2023. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm a really seasonal drinker. When I am in the winter, I'm drinking sherry bombs, I'm drinking heavy peated whiskeys. If I drink a beer, it's gonna be a bourbon barrel aged imperial stout. In the summer, I'm more inclined, if at any time, to pour a bourbon, maybe a rye. Mixed drinks are big, and if I'm at a campfire, yeah, I'll pull out a peated whiskey at that time. But I want to talk to you about what whiskeys I would be inclined to taste in the spring season. So I have 5 whiskeys. I want to throw you away with a couple honorable mentions. And yeah, I think it's a great list and we should get right to it. Number 5 on our list is a whiskey that comes from Scotland's most visited distillery on the Isle of Arran. It comes from the Lochranza distillery. This is the Arran 10-year-old single malt Scotch whiskey. This whiskey is bottled at 46% alcohol. It's non-chill filtered, natural colors, so we have an integrity presentation. And it is a whiskey that punches far above its weight class when it comes to price performance and price value. Now, this whiskey has a really lovely honeyed floral sort of fruit citrus profile, sweet, soft, fruity. It has some vanilla richness to it, some malt backbone, and it's balanced off with some spice. I find this whiskey is really great for that transition from those cold winter days into spring. And it really relies on those ex-bourbon casks predominantly. There are some sherry casks in the mix, but it largely is driven by those ex-bourbon barrels. I think it's a perfect whiskey for this time of year. It has won many awards, including multiple awards from the online Scotch Whisky Awards, hosted by Roy from Aquavitae and Ralphie from Ralphie.com. I think this whiskey is just fantastic. I need to get another bottle of it because I'm out. But when I was just checking prices, because I am going to get another bottle of it, it was running $55 Canadian in Alberta. It's really tough to beat that. I gotta run. I gotta order a bottle. Number 4 on our list is Clynelish 14-year-old Highland Single Malt Scotch Whisky. Now, this whiskey has one of the classic profiles of the great Highland distilleries. I love this whiskey, and I believe Diageo loves it too. And I say that because it's almost as if they respect this whiskey too much to water it down to 40%, to dilute it that far. They bottled this still at 46%. It's one of the rare few Diageo core range whiskeys that is bottled at 46%. So that's wonderful. It really relies on the ex-bourbon barrels for its profile. And its profile is one it's fruity, it's waxy, it's clean, and floral. I get a lot of citrus off it. There's some coastal notes too. It's a beautiful whiskey, and it is just made for the spring season. It forms a backbone of a lot of great blends, including the Compass Box Orchard House, if you've already had that one. I really love this whiskey. And I don't want to cause some FOMO here, but I think we all know that Diageo is known to hike prices at random times. They went ahead and did so with Lagavulin 16, with Talisker 10, with Talisker 18 to astronomical prices where I'm not touching those whiskeys with a 10-foot pole unless they're on a big clearance. And even then, I don't know if I want to give Diageo the sale. So I'm telling you to go out and buy a Diageo product, which take it as what it is. At $85 right now in some places in Alberta, Canada, Canadian, 85 Canuck bucks, usually about 100. That's a great price for this whiskey. If you haven't already tried this whiskey, go ahead, get a bottle, find out what you're missing out on. It's perfect for this time of year. I've got it in my glass right now. Yeah, this is great stuff. Number 3 on our list of the best whiskeys for spring of 2023 is the Bruichladdich Classic Laddie. Now, I love this whiskey. It's bottled at 50% alcohol, non-chill filtered, natural color again, but it has no age statement on it. However, there is a bottling code on the back that you can punch in on the website, and it will tell you the absolutely youngest whiskey in this bottling. On top of that, it'll tell you all the cask makeups that went into the vatting for this batch, which is really cool. Well done, Bruichladdich, on being very open about what's going into your whiskey. And so it's a really interesting mix of cask types dominated by ex-bourbon, but there's a lot of French wine casks too. The profile in this whiskey, it's bright, it's floral, citrus, sweet malt, vanilla, it's lively, it's youthful, really bright whiskey. It also has that unique Laddie funk note, that lactic funk that I really enjoy. Some people are put off by it, but I find it a very interesting hallmark and signature of this distillery. And it really makes it very enjoyable, easy sipper that still has a lot of complexity to it. Yeah, I love this whiskey. For value, I mean, it used to be about $70 Canadian. It's starting to go up. It's $90 in Alberta. I can still find this some places in BC for $70 Canadian. So if you see it at that price, I think this is a great time to pick it up before that price hike is everywhere. On top of that, I learned when I went to the Water of Life film screening in Vancouver, something very interesting about this whiskey. There was members of the VPD pipe band that I was sitting beside, and they kindly bought me and my buddy Andrew some whiskey sodas to watch with the movie and then taste the rest of our whiskeys with. And I would have never thought to put this in a whiskey soda, to use this single malt in a mixed drink. It was phenomenal. It was fantastic. There is enough character to this whiskey that it really comes through, and it's still very lively. You still have the Laddie hallmark very present in a whiskey soda. I've actually started making it at home on warmer days. So yeah, great in a whiskey soda. I know some of you will hate that, but give it a shot. I think it's an experiment worth trying. It surprised me. So for that reason, it's versatility as a mixed drink, and it's great value as an easy sipping whiskey. Get it while it's still at a lower price. Number 3, the classic Laddie. Number 2 on our list is going to be the GREENSPOTL Quails Gate Edition Pinot Noir cask finished Irish single pot still whiskey. Now, a lot of you will be familiar with GREENSPOTL Irish whiskey. It's extremely popular, and for a good reason. It's pretty dang good. However, this is a spin. This is a different take on GREENSPOTL whiskey. Now, when it comes to Irish whiskey, I find the profile is really good for spring because it's lighter, it's more approachable. It's perfect for when the sun's shining and the flowers are blooming. And I feel like GREENSPOTL and the Midleton Distillery do a great job with their whiskey releases. Now, GREENSPOTL is a single pot still whiskey that was made by the Midleton Distillery, licensed out and sold by Mitchell & Sons, a grocer in Dublin. It has a long history. And in the past, they've actually done 2 other red wine cask finished whiskeys, the Chateau Montelena and the Leville Barton, or Barton, sorry. It's an Irish name. Why would I make it into a French name? Now, regular GREENSPOTL typically is bottled at 40%. It's a combination of first fill, second fill, ex-bourbon, as well as sherry casks. The GREENSPOTL Quails Gate Edition is bottled at 46% alcohol, so a 6% bump. Yes, that's good news. And much like those other red wine finishes, it is aged in red wine casks, specifically ex-Pinot Noir casks from a VQA winery called Quails Gate from the Okanagan Valley here in British Columbia. So it's got this West Coast connection to actually a really well-known and respected winery here in British Columbia. For those reasons, I'm already on board. Furthermore, though, I really enjoyed Pinot Noir finished or matured whiskeys in the past. Some didn't, but I enjoyed Ardbeg Black, which is finished in New Zealand Pinot Noir casks, I believe. And I had a Aaron 14-year-old single cask Pinot Noir cask from Sierra Springs Liquor in Airdrie, Alberta, that while it was probably considered wine ski, I really enjoyed it. It was delicious. For these reasons, I would definitely take a swing on the GREENSPOTL Quails Gate edition. It's running about $100. Yeah, I think it's probably worth a shot. And it just came out in February 2023. Yeah, that seems like it belongs on this list. Before we get to our number 1 pick, I want to talk about some honorable mentions that were left off the list. Number 1, I want to talk about the DAFTMILLAR Distillery in the lowlands of Scotland. Now, this distillery doesn't make much whiskey. It only makes about 65,000 liters per year. It's run by Francis Cuthbert, and it's a single estate farm distillery. Basically, the barley they use on the estate, they grow themselves, and they sell extra barley to other distilleries. The first whiskey was a 12-year-old released in 2018, and they were only founded in 2005. But a lot of their releases really focus on the ex-bourbon casks, and they really want to emphasize a light lowland style of whiskey. It's honeyed, it's fruity, sweet and spicy, it's complex, and it really has a great tropical fruit note to it as well, a bit of a grassy note. The samples I've had, I've really enjoyed, but the reason why I left this off the list is one, it's very pricey, and number two, it's extremely difficult to get your hands on. And I didn't want to send you on a wild goose chase for this whiskey, but if you happen to see DAFTMILLAR sitting on the shelf and you've got the money to splash out on a bottle like that, might be worth a try. It's perfect for this time of year. Furthermore, a whiskey I recently reviewed is going to be on this list of honorable mentions as well, and that's the Hazelburn 10-year-old. The reason I've done that is because this whiskey, I've actually literally gardened while drinking this whiskey in the past. I've worked on our blueberry bushes in the backyard, and just kind of reveled in the sun while drinking this whiskey. If you want to know more about the Hazelburn 10-year-old, go ahead and check out my review. It's in the back catalog, you'll find it there. And yeah, I just adore this whiskey, and I can tell you all about it in that review. I hope you're all enjoying this list. I just wanted to put it out there because I've heard some feedback that people aren't actually getting notified of the videos that are going out there. If you're wanting to be notified of these videos and you're not already subscribed, just make sure you hit that bell. That sounds peak YouTube, I know, but YouTube's algorithm's doing some weird things, and if you don't have that bell clicked, it seems like they're not actually showing you any new videos that are coming out these days. Number one on my list of top whiskeys for spring of 2023 is going to be the Compass Box Orchard House blended malt whiskey. Now, if you've watched some of the videos earlier, some of the earliest, I adore Compass Box. They just do beautiful whiskeys and beautiful packaging using great distilleries to make them. And this whiskey is no different. It's bottled at 46% alcohol. It's notch filtered, natural colored. The head blender on this was James Saxon. And this is primarily made up of Clynelish, Linkwood, and Ben Ernest single malt Scotch whiskies from first fill ex-bourbon casks. Now, Roy Aquavite, he's waxed poetic about this over 2021 and 2022. Anyone who listens to him, this whiskey will be no stranger to you. It's a blended malt that might as well be made for the spring season. It's floral, it's fruity, it's vibrant and bright. It jumps out at you from the glass. I think it's just fresh and vibrant, and I think it's the perfect thing to be drinking as the sun shows up and the flowers start blooming. Compass Box Orchard House is your number one whiskey, and it's still at a great price. In Alberta, Canada, you can get it for $67 Canadian still. In British Columbia, you're closer to $80, $85 Canadian. I think it's still a buy at those prices, and I imagine as the components become more expensive, the price will go up. So might as well get it now before it goes up later. Thank you once again for joining me on the channel here, guys. If you can comment down below, are you a seasonal drinker? And if so, what's your favorite whiskey to drink during the spring season? If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. If you can hit that like button, hit that bell for notifications. That's becoming really important now. And thank you once again for joining me and sticking with me to the end. Until the next time, from the West Coast, Sláinte.